These super-powered blue fragrances are absolutely a necessity. I highly recommend picking a few of these up and having them in your arsenal. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the blue fragrance genre is one of the most versatile ones out there. It's also one of the most mass-pleasing, widespread DNAs that is pretty much running rampant and you smell all over the place. That might sound like a bad thing to some, and depending on what you're trying to achieve, maybe that is. But if you are solely after compliments and smelling good and safe to people around you, that familiar DNA works really well because people are accustomed to that type of smell. You know, it's familiar to them and it's not off-putting. There is a time and place for daring, challenging, more interesting and unique fragrances for sure. I have a ton of them. I love them. They're very exciting. They're fun to dive into. But sometimes you just want to play it as safe as possible. You want to show up. You want to do what you got to do. You don't have to want to worry about people maybe not liking what you're wearing and offending people because you smell weird. So these are going to set you up in the right path. And really quickly, what is a blue fragrance? Well, besides anything to do with the bottle or the color of the liquid itself or the name, generally when you look at blue fragrances, one thing that they all have in common is ambroxan. Okay, now let's dive into it. First up, we have Ferragamo Womo Urban Feel. So, you know, again, blue bottle, yes, but that's not the reason why this is a blue scent. This is a blue fragrance, you know, again, that category, that genre, because it has a lot of ambroxan, along with bergamot, ozonic notes. There's a geranium in here, some woods, some musk. You get the idea. So it's citrusy, it's fresh, it's clean, but it has that ambroxan touch, which gives it that kind of bright, fizzy, sometimes slightly saltiness depending on the type. Sometimes it's a little bit sweet, but it's a very distinct note. And again, there's different varieties of that aroma chemical that's used across the category, across the different types, but you do pick up on it in here. And in this one, it's of the fresher, kind of brighter variety. This one doesn't trend too sweet. It doesn't even really have a ton of a saltiness or like a marine feel. It's bright, it's fresh, it's bubbly, it's kind of sparkling. It smells fantastic. This is the type of thing that you could spray on and be set for anything. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to worry about showing up and not smelling like you fit the part, because this works for anything. Going to be better suited probably for this time of year, summer, you know, because of its freshness. Depending on kind of what you're after, you can wear it into the winter months as well. But I do think we have a few better options in here for wintertime blue scents, and we'll kind of touch on those as we go. So definitely pick this one up for around $40 to $45 on discounters and wear through it while you can before summer's over. It's a really nice one in the heat. Next up, if you can get yourself a bottle of Bulgari Aqua Atlantique, I highly recommend it. So this is a marine scent. Very similar, or not very similar, I guess, but it follows the same blueprint as the other Bulgari Aqua scents, you know, the original, marine, things like that. So it has that realistic aquatic note, kind of the seaweed going on, but a lot of ambroxan. Now, in this one in particular, the type of ambroxan that they're using is actually a little bit more sweet, has a little bit of a salty kick to it. This is a much more heavy and rich scent compared to Urban Feel like we just covered. And that might sound a little bit confusing because it's an aqua scent and it's still classified as a summer scent. And, you know, it just is up for interpretation. I still see this one as a summertime scent, but it is on the heavier end. You know, I've heard where this can be a bit too cloying for some people in the summertime. It can be a bit too strong, a bit too overpowering. It's got a little bit of a similarity to Dylan Blue, and that's mostly the sweet compound and the type of ambroxan that both of them share, in my opinion, is what really gives that off, because there's no patchouli or incense in this one. It's just a little bit more sweet, heavy, and ambery. But you do have the citrus and the sea notes or aquatic notes to kind of balance that out. This is one of the strongest aquatic scents in my collection, and also one of the strongest blue fragrances in my collection as well. It is absurd. And it's discontinued. That's the unfortunate thing about it. Now, it does pop up from time to time, and if you want a really good chance at being able to grab one for yourself, you can jump on my mailing list at the link down below and my texting list at the number down below. Anytime something rare, discontinued, or hard to find like this comes into stock, I send out a notification allowing you guys to pick it up before it sells out pretty quickly. So it might suck right now, maybe it's sold out, but pretty confident that it's going to come back at some point, and once it does, I'll notify the people on those lists, so make sure you jump on there. Be on the lookout for Aqua Atlantique. Grab a bottle or two if you can. It's backup bottle worthy. I have done my due diligence and purchased several. It's one of my favorites. I've talked about this a ton over the years, and this is kind of one last hurrah, because next year it's probably not going to get featured on this channel at all, because it's going to be even further into the discontinuation of it. Stock is going to be even more dried up by next summer. So RIP Aqua Atlantique, be on the lookout for some. Now we're going to jump back over to something that is affordable and also not discontinued, something that you could buy right now if you wanted to, and it is Versace House. General kind of average price is around $47, kind of mid 40s to low 50s. If you're seeing it for $80 or more, don't buy it there, because again, it pops up usually around the mid $40 range. Oftentimes it can sell out, but it comes back. So if you're patient, you could save quite a bit of money there. So this one is very similar to a smell that you have smelled many times, Invictus Aqua. This one is different because it has a lot of plum in here, some apple. It's much more fruity than Invictus Aqua. Also, it's, to me, a little bit less bubblegummy. It still is a more sweet summertime scent for sure, but just not in the same way as some of those others. And ambroxan. There was a ton of ambroxan, along with some watery notes, some lavender, general aromatics, musk, all of that stuff. Pretty similar structure, a lot of ambroxan and a lot of fruit in this one. But it really works well. I like the plum in here. It's unique. It's not a note that is used often in men's fragrances, and so every time it shows up, it's something that stands out for kind of a different change of pace. 100 ml, eau de parfum, very strong. Really good performer. Always has been, and that's what I love so much about it. It's playful, it's fun, it's easygoing, it smells like summertime, and I recommend it highly. Now, this is one that you could extend into wintertime if you wanted because of the sweetness, okay? Now, I generally don't, just because I'm weird and I like to associate certain scents with certain times of the year only. So like when I smell this, I think directly of summer. If I were to wear this all throughout winter, it's going to kind of muddle some of those memories. I have plenty of other things to wear in the wintertime. But if you want to, if you have a limited collection, you want to really stretch your dollar and get the most out of something and wear it often, you could easily extend this into the freezing cold months. Those temperatures, the sweetness, the power, it's going to hold up great. And really, you could do that with Aqua Atlantique as well. I kind of forgot to mention that there. Next up, we have YSL Eau de Parfum Intense. I really love this. I actually was wearing it before I shot this video, and I was enjoying it so much. Every time I've worn this one, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's not to say that I haven't enjoyed the other YSL Ys, because I have. I'm a huge proponent of the Eau de Parfum. I love the Le Parfum version. Great scents. The Eau de Toilette, it's what started it all. The Eau Fresh, I mean, they're all good. I would say the one that I've worn the least is Y Live, and that one's discontinued as well. Same with Eau Fresh, but the Eau de Parfum I've worn heavily, Le Parfum worn heavily. I've always enjoyed those, but this one extracts or subtracts the sweetness, the apple overpowering sweetness that a lot of the others have, and focuses on the aromatics even more with that amberwood in here. So you're still getting that blue fragrance DNA, but less sweet, less cloying. Maybe this is better for summer compared to the Eau de Parfum and the Le Parfum. I would say that's a great argument to make. If you're looking for a justification to buy this one, there you go. If the others are too sweet, this one solves that. And I think that was a really good move on their part, because I think that was maybe the bottleneck of the Y Eau de Parfum DNA is the sweetness. That was probably the #1 point of contention for that one, and they've solved it here. You still get that great performance, the great quality, everything that you would expect from a Y scent, just less sweet. And again, Great performance out of this one. You could wear this in the wintertime if you really wanted to. I think more mild, warm temperatures it's going to be best suited for, but it'll work for about anything. Great stuff, awesome release. Let's keep it moving with Aqua de Joe Profondo. You can get a giant 200 ml bottle like this for not as much as you would think. I can't remember off the top of my head what these are going for, but generally as it goes, you can basically double the amount of what you're buying for way less than double the cost. Yeah, think about it. Aqua de Joe Profondo, 4.2 ounce. I guess it's a little bit less than double. 125 ml are what they are. You know, that's going for up over 100. Toss in, I don't know, what is it usually? 30, maybe $40, and then you've got 200 milliliters total. So I think it really kind of makes sense if you are going to be wearing the scent a lot. And for me, I love this stuff. This is my 200 ml backup. I generally wear out of my 125, but it was a good deal, and I figured might as well get it because I love the DNA. It's not that blue fragrance DNA going on in here, but with a lot of sea notes and mineral notes and citrus. It's very familiar. The Aqua de Joe DNA does shine through, but the mineral notes, everything about this one is a different take on an aquatic, a take that I haven't seen before Profondo. And so if you're looking for a different style of aquatic scent, something that's very refreshing for the summertime, this is one to go for sure. Great quality, very much more so premium designer scent. It smells that way, it wears that way. It just has that quality that is kind of above the rest in terms of things that are, well, not as expensive as this. So yes, you're paying more for something like this, but you're also getting equal value in return. And that's what I like about it. Pretty much the whole Aqua de Joe line is that way, but this one is great stuff as well. Last up, we're going to end this one with a clone. Now, this is kind of a two birds with one stone scenario. It's one of the new Armafs that was released early this year, Armaf Club de Nuit Urban Elixir. So I'm sure you guys remember, out of nowhere, Armaf dropped 4 brand new Armafs, 4 brand new releases all at once, and this was one of them. And so, of course, given the history of the clone brand, a lot of us were excited to see what they were cloning. And this is kind of, again, it's a 2-for-1 deal. To me, it's kind of like a hybrid between Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, Dior Sauvage, those two grouped together, mixed with Creed Aventis, Club de Nuit Intense Man, maybe Hassavat a little bit. Essentially, it's Aventis DNA meets Sauvage DNA. Within those, you can break it down further because Prada Carbon is a clone of Sauvage, and it's like they combined both of those elements of those two. And then you've got Aventis, of course, which is the originator, Club de Nuit Intense, which is a clone of Aventis, Hassavat, which was probably very much inspired by Aventis, whether intentional or not, probably more so intentional. So it's like cloneception when you really start to break it down, and you could probably take it even further than that. But as a whole, Aventis DNA meets Sauvage DNA. And I really like it because you have both of those for about $50. 105 ml bottle. It goes a long way. It's an eau de parfum. It has powerful, strong performance. And so instead of spending $80 on Carbon and then $40 on Club de Nuit Intense Man, or $100 on Sauvage and $300+ on Aventis, or whichever way you go about it, to layer them, you can buy it once for $50. And yes, there are going to be times where you would rather wear Aventis by itself, or Club de Nuit Intense Man by itself, or Sauvage by itself, Carbon by itself, etc. But for the times where you want them combined, you want the maximum amount of complement pulling abilities, $50 gets you there. I mean, that's a great deal. And so because of that, the Sauvage DNA, ambroxan to the extreme, and even Aventis itself uses a ton of ambergris or ambroxan. Why don't we consider that a blue fragrance? I guess that's a great question. I don't know, but it does use a ton of ambroxan, and to be fair, most creeds do. You know, it's more than just the ambroxan, but these do follow the trend of the either aromatics or the citrus or the aquatics or whatever. But regardless of that, this is a great fit to end the video if you want to save some money. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Got some very powerful blue scents that I think are definitely worth having around. take your pick, grab a couple of them. It's really all you need. You can buy them all like I have and even more so, or, you can just pick and choose. It's up to you. I will drop links to them down below so you can grab them for the prices that I kind of referenced here. Again, rare stuff, hard to find stuff, sales, what have you, mailing lists and texting lists. It's free to sign up to both. You can unsubscribe at any time. I highly recommend jumping on there. You will save a lot of money and a lot of stress off of your shoulders because I'm doing the looking and the hard work to find all these rare finds to bring them directly to your inbox. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.